Good evening. I'm Erkki from Finland, Nordea Bank, Finland. Nordea is a pan-Nordic bank operating all Nordic countries, and I tried very briefly to scan the Nordic market and take a few things out of my home country, Finland. It's not fair to say that Nordic markets are similar, but one similarity there is that all Nordic markets are in their own way very advanced in electronic services and in e-Invoicing as well. If we take Denmark, that we know all that the government has had the leading role there to promote e-Invoicing by just writing the law. Finland is a place for, opposed to many of these examples we've seen today, is a place for decentralized solutions. So there's no central engine to take care of it. It's all interfacing file standards and schemes to exchange invoices. Norway is very advanced in volumes in consumer invoicing. And then Sweden is maybe at medium level in its applications, but Sweden is very advanced in business infrastructure, so they all are quite high in there. We all use, as it needs to be, all use different standards for invoicing, and there's not only one standard per country, there are several standards per country, so that is the typical way things emerge, evolve and grow from sectoral and local communities. There are also different drivers in the markets where it is public sector, in other places it's operators or banks, and in Norway, for example, the activity on business-to-business invoicing is on invoice receivers side. I pick up a few elements of infrastructure in my home country which can explain the quite good takeoff, even if there's a lot to do in invoicing in there as well. But the good takeoff of the invoicing, there are a lot of good elements which form the foundation of this. First of all, the positive e-environment. Nordic countries are the early adopters of internet banking, wide area networks, broadbands and so on. There is extremely liberal and supportive legal and tax environment, if you can express it that way, but that is very tolerating in terms of equal treatment on electronic and paper, we could say. Important element is that still, even if we have two major standards and then some other standards in the market, the major and big number of ERP finance system service providers, they support e-invoicing and they support those standards already. So it is an infrastructure that is in place that you can go and buy a solution from software and then you are almost ready to link in. You have to, of course, design your processes. There's a national invoice forum which collects all stakeholders together. Very important, very crucial. Without that, there would not be a way to handle the challenges of evolving business. Finvoice standard for mass market. That is the contribution of bank industry to the market. It's banks designed and definitely, especially for the mass market SMEs, the same standard is used also for consumer invoicing. And then separate from the standard, there's a scheme to exchange invoices between banks as invoice operators. And that is quite clear-cut system and easy to manage between the few counterparties that we have in our relatively small markets. Most important, glass is full empty or full, half full or half empty, which way you look at it. we hear stories of challenges of linking the non-bank and the bank sector as service providers together. The matrix there is a visual proof of the fact of existing connections and running services between all major parties offering services in the invoice exchange domain. So all parties are connected to each other and do service for their mutual customers. So that's not an obstacle. I'll respect the late hour, so I will not go into these models, B2B, B2C and that. But I want to take one innovative aspect of invoicing related to SEPA migration to do the single euro payments area in the country. As in all countries, we have proprietary connectivity to banks, we have own ways to do pension payments, salary payments, domestic bill payments, direct debits, international payments, and that we have national clearing settlement system for the euro payments. When we step into SEPA time, to avoid the complexity that has now proven to be a big challenge for Europe, is the cross-border or pan-European direct debit. The whole functionality can be in our national community context be replaced with an e-invoice and automated launch of credit transfer based on the invoice pre-authorization. So basically same functionality but a lot easier legal construction to bring the same service to the payer and a lot more simpler service to the creditor, the invoicing party. And then all the traditional domestic instruments will be catered for with the same concept, with or without invoice. Connectivity will be based on global standard elements and pan-European euro clearing through EBA. I think that's all. Our ambitious migration plan still holds. It is that we will do this by the end of 2010. This is reconfirmed last week by the government public sector timelines for adopting SEPA practices in governmental offices and central treasury and a lot of things like that. They also have announced to stop receiving paper invoices beginning on 2010, and all agencies should be ready exclusively to invoice electronically by end of 2010. So it goes totally into that. The public sector is showing very good example to the market. There will be a lot more to tell about, but I'll respect the late hour and thank you.